Nothing.
He's got 8 envelopes.
I'd like to call our regular meeting of November 22nd to order. May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Kudrick?
Present.
Ms. Lanasi?
Present.
Ms. White?
Present.
Mr. McKevich?
Present.
Ms. Frayer?
Here.
Ms. Buckley?
Present.
Ms. Roscoe here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did I run into you too?
Mr. Carr, are there any changes in the agenda?
No, ma'am. The agenda stands as presented.
May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agenda as printed.
Support. Any questions?
That's good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of our previous meeting minutes. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 8th, 2004 meeting.
Support.
Okay, are there any questions on the minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Superintendent Carr?
Members of the board, Mr. Clark is on vacation this week, well-deserved vacation. I have one, for your information, personnel item, and that's the retirement of bus driver Kathleen Ship. Mr. Ruth here, bills for payment.
Superintendent Carr, President Buckley, members of the Board of Education, I have for your approval this evening 4 registers totaling $271,922.24.
I'll make the motion. Support.
Are there any questions on the bills? Questions? All in favor? I'm
No,
sorry,
I had one question.
Mr. McKevich.
How many phone companies are we using? As I was going through here, I saw 3 or 4 different names.
There's SBC, there would be Nextel, then it would be our long-distance carrier. The name escapes me right now.
It's my singular.
There's Singular. There's one other.
AT&T maybe?
There was,
There's
No,
at
wait
least
a minute.
one other that is the long-distance carrier, as well as the local traffic.
well, I brought it up. The one I saw that threw me was Focal Communications of Michigan, I think it is,
Yes.
F-O-C-A-L.
That is the long-distance carrier, and they handle all of our local traffic as well.
Now, what, SBC, does that handle like all the
SBC
buildings?
SBC are the emergency lines to the buildings. As you recall, there are 2 per building, and that's our only connection with SBC. Everything else is through Focal, and then and/or the cellular phone network.
Okay.
Can't tell the players without a program, can you?
No, and Focal is the one that threw me, because I don't remember ever seeing that name before.
We're in our 2nd year with Focal.
Are there any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Guidance Center is here tonight to present Roxanne Brinkerhoff, who is going to be... Yes.
Which one?
It'd be better if you stand.
Yes,
With the
please.
mic on.
I warned you.
Yeah, you want to do that. Yeah.
They got
got
a
it.
PowerPoint too.
You want him to stand?
You
on
want to
this side?
stand where the tape area is?
She's got a PowerPoint.
Can somebody else advance the PowerPoint?
I'm not sure that microphone's on either, is it?
Hey, Roxanne,
I
speak
thought
in
you
there and
just
see
put
if
it
it's
on.
on. No, it's not on.
Oh.
Try it again.
There you go.
Thank you. I did the opposite. Sorry.
All right.
I'm going to have to look at the screen then, so I apologize, I'm not looking at you. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing us to come here today and do this PowerPoint presentation to you. Again, my name is Roxanne Brinkerhoff. I'm a Director of Family Support Services at the Guidance Center. And this is Shari Stewart. She is one of our parent support workers at the Guidance Center. So again, thank you for letting us come. So I'll begin the PowerPoint. So you can go ahead and hit the first one. No, I better show her how to do it first. You hit this right here. Okay. First of all, I'll go over our mission. Some of you are familiar with the Guidance Center, some of you are not. The Guidance Center's Family Resource Center's mission is to provide comprehensive research-based family support services to enhance the family's capacity to support and growth and development of all families. And that's members of adults, youth, children, as well as the community. Our locations are the Aquinas Building in Southgate. We have the Early Childhood Building in Belleville, which is Van Buren, and then presently the Burton Center in Romulus, and then River Rouge should be opening in December. Resources available through the Family Resource Centers. There's a lending library for parents, videos, books, literacy bags, and toys. We offer parent-child interaction groups. We have a fatherhood library. We have literacy events. We have a program called Let's Talk. We also have infant and toddler and preschool development information on hand for parents. We have a Parent as Teachers program, Great Parents, Great Start program, which I'm sure you're familiar with, After Baby Comes program, and I already said family literacy events, but I really like literacy, so I'm going to push that again. Information pamphlets on a variety of topics for the whole entire family, not just the children. To continue our lending library, library cards are available to all families and staff. The Family Resource Center operates on a good faith system. We have a wide selection of materials for our staff and families. Library cards, they should be presented when checking material in and out. We have over 4,000 books at this time, and then we've spread them out to our other sites, which is really nice. These are our loan periods, which I won't go into detail, but we try to run like a library would. So some parents that don't get the opportunity to go to the library, they get the experience with us, but a little more laid back. They don't have to hush their children when they're in the resource center, be concerned that their children are running around trying to play. They can relax as well as the children can. So, but we try to get them used to library cards, used to the system of checking things out and returning things. So this is our system that we put in place. But of course, everything that we have is free of charge for parents, even the videos that they take home. Parent-child interaction groups. The Family Resource Center is a place where families feel welcomed, and we encourage parents to bring their children to come in and utilize all of our available resources. We use the group time to promote positive interactions and educate the parents on child-related issues. The group also serves as a really, really good resource for parents as a support network. It's really, really nice. The Fatherhood Library. We dedicated a portion of our lending library to fatherhood resources. Books ranged from skills for new fathers all the way to building new relationships for experienced fathers. Our After Baby Comes program, if you're not familiar with this is designated for any first-time parent who has a child that has not reached 12 months in age. Parents can participate in the play groups with their child. ABC does home visits for the active families in the ABC program, and that's the information, which is in your packet. So if you ever knew anybody that needs to be referred to that program. We also offer infant massage. Infant massage classes to parents of babies ages 1 month to crawling. Parents learn about how nurturing their baby and the benefits of infant massage, like bonding, brain development, relaxation. This all has to do with infant massage, and it's very, very educational for the parents. Great Parents, Great Start, which I'm sure you're familiar with. This is a program that promotes parent-child interaction groups for our piece of the programming. It helps parents to support their child's cognitive, emotional, social growth, and well-being. Parents receive weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly home visits based on the Parents as Teachers model. The Parents as Teachers model is a home-based visiting program. The program consists of home visits, group meetings, and screenings. The PAT program is designed to offer developmental information and support to all parents of infants and young children. Parents are their child's first and most important teacher, and we really try to get that across to the parent. Another really nice program that we're implementing at the Guidance Center that will be at all of our sites is called Let's Talk. And I put the hows too because they're really important. How to help infants and young children get ready for school. How do children learn to talk and communicate. How to fully be attentive when communicating with the child. How to accurately read children's nonverbal cues. How to respond positively with words. How to use language to expand vocabulary and comprehension. How to use daily routines at home and in a child's child care setting and preschool setting to enhance language development. It's a really nice program that's implemented. These are the sites and how you can contact each of our parent support workers. Every single site will have a parent support worker that you would be able to contact, and they would be able to refer your family to any one of our 41 programs within the Guidance Center. That's one nice piece about putting our resource centers at these spots right now, is that it's a hub that we are able to get parents service way down in Southgate. Even though Southgate is where our college, or university as I call it, of the Guidance Center, we have 41 fabulous programs that service infants all the way up to adults. But unfortunately, people out in Belleville or Romulus, sometimes way out in River Rouge, even though they're 5-10 minutes away, don't realize the services. So luckily, we are honored enough to hire some wonderful employees, such as Shari, that will be able to refer families, follow through with families, and get their needs met, and find other resources. Resources could be as simple as going and trying to get WIC or FIA. Sometimes parents just need that support to get to those next resources. And that's why we decided to go out in the community beyond Southgate and develop these FRCs. So we wanted to come today and present to you that we're coming to Romulus. We're 3/4 of the way here. No, we are pretty much all moved in, but we're very excited that we're going to be able to serve this community. And I think it's something that we should have done a long time ago, but I'm glad we're here now. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roxanne has been working with Sharman Spicer and Bill Musham and April Frere with our Early Childhood Committee. So this is some work that's been going on with your administration and our committee structure to bring more service to our community. And I'd like to commend all of those folks for their participation in helping work with the Guidance Center, which is a very big and very good organization, bringing good services to us. In previous years, we've had some services from Family and Neighborhood Services and Hagera and other outside agencies, and we've worked with them, and this is a similar kind of feature, and we've had some very positive experiences and some very good extra help, and we appreciate having you with us.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Is there any questions for Roxanne from any of the board members?
I just also wanted to add real quick, if I could, Madam Chair. The grand opening is December 15th, just to let everybody know.
Yeah, there's a big old,
Just to let the people at home
Invitation
know
right
as
here.
well.
Invitations in your packet.
yeah, what
And there is
time?
more information in there for
10
you to
till
read,
6.
the newsletters, more pamphlets on your free time. So I did leave that for you to look over. So,
10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the 15th.
yes.
10 to 6 on the 15th. Is that just for, is that for everyone, just for the community? Okay. Okay.
Great job.
I have a question.
Ms. White,
Madam
yes.
Chair, currently, as we know, the Guidance Center has a Head Start program, which is housed in the Burden Center and My Friends and Me. And I know they do have a parent room as well for families there. So is that going to complement that? Or are you all going to work together? How is that going to work out?
Right now, we're working together. We've taken over their staff room as our parent resource room, so we're sharing space right now. So that is our best space solution for the building. 'Cause the building is very tight, and she knows because she's been moving things in, and there's not a lot of space in there.
I'm
And
familiar
Bill
with
will
the-
verify that.
the building.
We've had to combine into a shared room at this time.
I was just wondering, because I know, and I know Shari as well, that they work with families and also providing resources. And it just seems like it's a great match, but I was just wondering
It's a
how
nice
that was
match,
gonna
especially
work
for
out.
Head Start. The Head Start is starting to get so many demands on them. And I don't want to say that we would ever leave a child, let them fall through the cracks, but
Roxanne,
having
excuse me,
Shar
can you
here-
use that mic,
Oh,
please,
I'm
just
so
so
sorry. I
somebody,
didn't
they
realize
can
that.
hear you
I'm
at
so
home?
sorry.
That's okay.
The nice thing is that Shari can help the families that aren't preschoolers. Head Start helps the preschoolers in the school district, or in their program. One nice thing about having our Head Start or a parent support worker there is that she will be able to also find services for the 0 to 3 per child and the whole entire family. So, like screenings. One wonderful thing that we'll be doing is hearing and vision screening. And Head Start always has screening for dental, for hearing, for vision, for those 3 and 4-year-olds. But a lot of those families have children of siblings that don't get tested. You can start testing an infant as early as 2 months old for hearing and vision.
Wonderful.
So that's one thing that she will be doing for all families in that building.
Madam Chairman, if I may.
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
McCavich?
Your funding. I
Mhm.
noticed in the one thing we had, there was some Skillman Foundation funds and some things like
Yep.
that. Is that all your support, or is there something other than
All of
foundation
my
grants?
support at this time came from a foundation called the McGregor Foundation. They have funded me for 3 years. Starting this year is our first year, which
So
is.
then, after that time period, you've got to find something
Yes.
else then?
And luckily, the Guidance Center is such a large organization that we have our own development department, and that's what they work on continuously. And we are a priority for the Guidance Center. So,
Thank you.
you're very welcome. Oh,
I would just like to say I look forward to being a service to my community because I do live in Romulus. So I really look forward to being a service to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is something that our community needs, so we're excited. This is great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Dolan,
Thank you.
moving on
Thank you,
to-
Superintendent Carr. With us tonight is Shelley Moore. Shelley's going to give us an update on the Learning to Give program. Shelley.
Actually, on the agenda, it says Kathy Hurst and Service Learning, but I'm Shelley Moore. And I'm going to talk to you very briefly tonight about the Learning to Give program. I gave you a little handout there which has all of the information that I think you need when I'm done. It's a huge website that you can access at any time, but Learning to Give is a project of the Michigan Council of Foundations, which is nonprofit groups located in the western side of the state. And in about 1995, they got together with the overarching philosophy that someone had to talk to kids and families about how to carry on philanthropy.
Her mic.
Is your mic not on, Shelley?
I don't think so.
No, it was on.
No, it's not.
She may have to hold it up higher.
Yeah, that's what I think. She's got to
No,
hold
I
it up
always
higher.
want to sing when this is.
Now, turn it on.
Is it on?
Now turn it on.
All right, how's that?
That's
Okay.
good. That's
In 1995, this group in the western side of the state got together to start some nonprofit groups to talk about how do we carry on the tradition of giving. One of the components in a democracy is that citizens give back to their country and give back to their city and give back to their schools. And this group got together in 1995. Actually, Romulus has been one of the big contributors to this group since its inception. I feel a little embarrassed to be the person talking for it because there are other people in this district who've had much more experience. Tom's been on the board of directors on the state level since it started, and Kathy Hurst and Serena Kessler from Romulus High School, when they were at the high school, they were some of the very first people to implement and work with the Learning to Give Foundation. In the district now, the Learning to Give program is represented K-12. My building, Merriman, was one of the first pilot schools. We participated in a 5-year pilot, which meant for 5 years all of my students were, and my teachers, teaching at least one Learning to Give unit per semester. So for children in my building who started there 5 years ago, they've had a steady diet of Learning to Give. Learning to Give units are online. They're teacher-made and teacher-driven. The Learning to Give organization is probably one of the best organized group of resources I've ever seen. They come into school districts, when they came into Romulus, in-service our teachers for free. Were wonderful resources for teachers. Teachers could get all the materials they needed, books and money for their projects, and they're all based on the standards and benchmarks in the Michigan Social Studies core curriculum. In the last 6 years, this organization, Learning to Give, has actually gone national. And this is the first year
the last year of pilot schools. When we started it, we were one of the first groups, and if you go on the website and look at the summer institutes of the development of the Learning to Give organization, you will see Romulus people in every single summer institute, and that's where the teachers get together and create these lessons. In my building, I have 2 people who've participated in the summer institutes, and I actually have somebody who's getting now their master's in philanthropy. You know, philanthropy is something that everybody can do. It's like one of my favorite quotes from Martin Luther King is, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. And that's what we're trying to instill in kids, that you don't have to be rich or famous or big to give back to your community. And the Learning to Give philanthropy project has served us really well, and it's something we've been very proud to be part of.
We are probably the foremost district in the state of Michigan. As Shelley indicated, this is not only going national, it's going to be an international project. And what better things could we do really than teach our kids to give? And we're doing it in all our schools, all our grades. It's had a very positive impact on the kids and on the principals, so we're real pleased with the direction we're going. The other component that we need to be aware of is the 40 hours of mandatory service. At some point, we're going to have to discuss that and talk about it. You know, the graduating juniors, this year's junior class, in order to receive the merit scholarship, have to complete 40 hours of service. We have no infrastructure for that as yet, along with a lot of other schools, so we want to update you on that, and we're looking at ways of achieving that as well. But Shelley's been instrumental in the whole service component, along with Kathy, and we're real pleased with it.
There's a little display over there that shows some kids doing some service or Learning to Give unit at Merriman, and there's some really good resources there. Last year, the Learning to Give organization gave us all a wonderful resource on African American history and talking about African American contributors to philanthropy, and it's one that all the schools use. So help yourself. If you ever want to look at those, you can. If you ever want to come and observe a Learning to Give unit at school, they're going on in one of the buildings at all times. We have some people coming to observe in my building from Michigan State, because Michigan State does some of the surveying. The teachers actually have gotten paid. They get paid to do a unit, and they get paid to evaluate the unit, because they wanted to kind of make sure that teachers had a real investment in it, and it's been extremely positive.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Good job, Shelley.
Go right ahead.
Thank you.
With us tonight, we have our new MEEP coordinator, and we have our new director of counseling, and our new counselor at the high school. Gretchen Notaro is the new MEEP coordinator. What we wanted to do tonight really is just give you some information. As you are aware, there's going to be a lot of changes in the MEEP. The MEEP format has changed, the MEEP timeline has changed, and the MEEP stakes for districts has changed. None of it particularly good in our mind. Gretchen has taken over the whole K-12 thing. She's going to start off. Gretchen.
Before I start talking about the changes that are going to be made next fall, 2005, I thought I'd just recap what we're doing this year with the MEEP. Grades 4, 5, 7, and 8 will be taking the MEEP test the end of January, beginning of February. Grade 4 takes ELA, which is made up of reading and writing and math. 5th grade takes the science and social studies. 7th grade takes the ELA, and the 8th grade takes the math, science, and social studies. And then the high school will take theirs in the springtime. Well, what had happened is No Child Left Behind mandated that all students in grades 3 through 8 would be tested in mathematics and ELA. So that's where we're having the new changes come into effect next year. Unfortunately, Michigan decided that they would be bringing the test to the fall. So October 3rd versus the beginning of the winter, our students in grades 3 through 8 will be taking mathematics and ELA. In addition, 5th grade would also take the science. 6th grade, it's still on the table. It could possibly be taking social studies. Right now it's in 5th, but they're still debating about that, and possibly moving the social studies to the 9th grade as well. Michigan did this for 3 different reasons that I could see. One being to eliminate meat prep, so there wouldn't really be that time for meat preparation. It also, they had said that teachers would be able to receive feedback in plenty of time to make any type of modifications to the normal grade level expectations. And then the third reason, I don't want to go blank. And the third reason would be to assess the students' prior knowledge. So 3rd grade is tested on 1st and 2nd, or K1, 2. 4th grade would just be tested on the 3rd grade, and that's kind of how it goes, so on. On your 3rd sheet, it kind of gives you an example of how many questions the students would be faced. It shows you grades 3 through 8. It's a pretty lengthy test, and that's something that they had said it's going to be longer. Also, you can figure they're going to add another 15 questions to each of those numbers for all the grades, because they're going to be piloting like field test items. They're going to be putting core items on. They're going to be testing students on prior grade level expectations and then even future grade level expectations. And so this year, students are only going to be required to score, make their AYP on the numbers that are in front of you. But in years to come, they could actually be using all of those extra 15 questions to assess the students. On your next page, I think it's one of your last pages, it shows you the subgroups. And so what you would want to do is look at the one graph at the bottom, or in the middle, and you would find 2005. And for example, I believe it's 43% for ELA at the elementary level.
49.
I'm sorry. Oh, 49.
49.
49. And so students, what that would mean is, and you would just follow it across, it would just mean that our students would need, 49% of them would need to pass any of those assessments, the MEP assessments. So that seems easy enough, but then at the top you'll see the different subgroups. So you have, if that's okay, thanks. You have all students, poverty, the migrant, LEP, which would be English as a second language, the IEP for students with disabilities, race, different makeup. And then also they've added a couple other things. Michigan is just now going to be, they're required by No Child Left Behind to report on it, but just recently they're going to be reporting on attendance, graduation, and also that 95% of the students are taking the test as well. So there's lots of different components that make up passing this test. So it's not really just easy enough as saying 49% of our students, pass the MEP. So there's lots of ways you have to pass it or fail it. And then at the bottom, there's some of, I won't go through them, but just in case a school did not make it, it kind of shows you a couple different factors right there. And then one thing to remember is this school would have to make, if they did fail one year, then they would need to, they could make it the next year, and then they would be considered, it's called safe harbor. But you need to make it 2 years consecutively to actually get out of there. And when I was, as I've been talking, it's mainly been at a building level. This is what a building has to do, a building. But even harder now, you can think a district now has to do all of this too. So that it seems like just because if an elementary building did it, then the district automatically would. But there's, Mr. Dolan will explain some other things to go along with that.
I think the important data to look at is the progressive nature of this. It goes from currently 49%, then 59%, then 69, 79, 90, leaning towards 100%. We all know that's sort of ridiculous. The subgroups are going to be an extreme challenge for all of us. Easy said, but when you look at subgroups and you're trying to, a subgroup is defined as 30 or more kids in a subgroup. And
It's particularly distressing, and I'd like to bring to your attention a couple things. All the handouts here have 130 ways not to make AYP.
Yeah.
That's the way the state is presenting this, and this is ridiculous. There's another sheet that's got 50 ways to not make it. They've given us 180 ways, and if you miss on any one of the 180, you do not pass. This is ludicrous.
the most significant
It's great that these folks are working as hard as they are, and they're doing the very best they can. But these are ludicrous requirements, and if you look at the item that I included, an MEA news release, and the items of interest, you will notice the first sentence.
Where's that?
It's in your items of interest. Go back a little
Oh,
farther
yeah,
in your
yeah,
packet.
we got it.
Michigan students deserve bold solutions to fix an underfunded law that penalizes schools that do not meet unattainable standards. That is a very significant statement. And I'm meaning nothing to reflect upon our staff, because our staff is doing a great job. But now they're testing in the fall. You don't test in the fall for accomplishments. You test at the beginning of a year for your pre-test, and you test at the end of year for your post-test of what you accomplished. This whole thing is flawed. It stinks. We're fighting it in a bunch of different areas. But our folks are working very hard to do the best they can for the kids in this community, and we will continue to do that.
The biggest significant for the fall is obviously the kids. For example, the kids that will be taking the meet this fall are your current third grade kids. They will study their curriculum and be taught their curriculum, just to reiterate what Jill said, from September to June. They'll take 4 months off. They'll come back and be tested on the previous year's curriculum in October. How stupid is that? Based on that, and then you can use all sorts of analogies of driver's tests, studying for law school, studying for medical school. What other profession would take 4 months off before Based on that, they'll determine the AYP of your district, of your school, and of your child. That's where we're at. But we're doing the best we can to align ourselves. We think we've done an exceptional job at the elementary. Gretchen has really taken hold of this and is really providing a good focus for us. We have new grade level GLICs, they're called, that we're working on. Thank you. Flo is the new high school department head, and she's going to talk to you about some of the changes at the high school. And Flo has one of her partners in crime with her tonight, we're glad to see.
My partner in crime, Latoya Shackelford, and Lisa Mockridge wasn't able to be here tonight, but we're a team.
You are a team. You're doing a great job.
We work really hard together.
Let me pass those out for you.
And the way we're doing it is not one person does one thing. I may be in charge of the MEP at the high school level, but they work with me. Okay? Latoya is in charge of the plan test, which we'll be giving in December. She was also in charge of the PSAT test, but we all work together. I will say that Dan thinks we're really good salespeople. We've tripled the number of people that are taking these tests this year. For example, the PSAT, Latoya, I believe 52 people took it last year. Oh, mathematically, we didn't quite triple it. Okay. 52 people took it last year, so she ordered 90 tests. We thought we'd, try to get more in. Well, we ended up having 121 paying to take the PSAT test. So the night before, she's out in East Detroit trying to find tests. Lisa's in Ann Arbor. I got up early the next morning and got some tests from Belleville High School, and we came up with exactly 121. Somebody was watching out for us. As far as the MEP goes, we've already given the fall MEP test. We're getting ready to give it again this spring for this year's juniors, but then it will probably be the last year we give it except for the retake in the fall. You've probably heard what's going on in Lansing right now. They're looking at taking us from the MEP for the school year 2005, 2006 to maybe the ACT or some test that has been approved by the National Department of Education, of which the ACT is one of them. We're not really sure how it's going to work. We just know that it's going to be offered earlier in the spring. Thank goodness not in the fall, okay, like it is for the elementary and the middle school. So we've got a lot to learn about that yet. It's passed the Senate, it's been moved on to the House, and we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. We will be giving the MEP the following year just as retakes for the juniors that are taking it this spring. Okay? So then they'll tell us where we stand after that. What I've passed out right now are, it's our year-long plan for the guidance department, and I've just given it to you to look over. We've made quite a few changes. Again, as a team, we're doing everything as a team. We've set up presentations to the sophomore, junior, and senior classes already, and it's not one person taking a week to go to all the senior classes and make a presentation. We get together, one person sets up the presentation, then we go over it, make changes, and then all of us go out and make the presentation, okay? So we're working on this together as a team, okay? And we've just got the freshmen left to do now, and it's really generating a lot of business for our department. The packets we give out are made up of their transcripts, and the kids learn how to read them, how to figure out their own GPA, where they stand as far as graduation goes, because we've each got over 400 kids, and it takes a while to go through all of them. So they know what to do, and then if they have a question, they make an appointment, come down to see us, they take the packet home, and from this morning, first hour, LaToya made a presentation. I got 2 calls this afternoon from parents. The kids during their lunchtime called mom and dad, told them about what Joel mentioned about the community service, and we're advocating not just 40 hours, but having the kids do 60 hours of community service, so they also get a half a credit, an elective credit, to help out with graduation. So anyway, we've made lots of changes, and we'll be back later on to make a presentation so you can ask more questions, and feel free to go through and give us a call anytime.
The high school has the same subgroups which to deal with as the elementary. The other considerations are, in addition to the change, and Ken is familiar with it, but changing to the ACT is going to have a significant impact on our kids. I mean, the ACT is not aligned to our curriculum. I would suspect our kids will do worse as opposed to better on it. Again, Joe may want to make a commentary on it.
Well, I do. I had dinner a couple of Thursdays ago with a group of folks who were sitting with Tom Watkins, the state superintendent, and he said the ACT is not just a shoo-in. There's been all kinds of discussions and problems in Lansing, in the Department of Education and other places, about bidding for contracts. And the legislature to just say this is the ACT is in violation of a lot of other state laws and other kinds of things going on. So there's a tremendous amount of confusion, which I kind of welcome at this time, because we need to have the confusion in order to have a proper discussion to straighten this mess out. So even if the law passes, it's going to be interesting to see what actually does go on. And would it be the ACT as we know it today, or would the ACT come in and write something different if they get the contract, or the College Entrance Examination Board, or some other testing company? So bets are really off on anything specific at this point, but something's probably going to happen.
Right, we're just waiting to be told.
I've given you 3 different readings that you might want to look at, and at some point, I think as representatives of the community on your level and on our level, we need to have a serious discussion of the implications of this test on our kids. In the past, you've talked about, the pros and cons of it. I think it's getting more serious now. I think it's getting more capricious now. I think maybe at some point down the road, we all should take a position on it. But read the material. There's materials from parents. There's materials from professionals. And the implications for us aren't very positive, folks. If our district doesn't make AYP 4 consecutive years, they can get rid of the board, they can get rid of the superintendent, they can get rid of the staff, they can deny funding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when you look at, as Joe pointed out, the 130 ways that you can't make AYP, from the special ed subgroups to all the different subgroups, it's a possibility for all challenged school districts down this way. The cards are stacked against us.
Not even just challenged school districts across the board, from the Grosse Pointes to the Bloomfield to the Birminghams to the Romulus to Rouge to Ecorse to whoever it is. Everybody is in danger, and very few schools are going to be able to match what these folks are dreaming up. It's a pipe dream, and we are beginning to work very hard to, over the next couple of years, make some serious changes.
Read the material, we'll get back with you, and we can discuss it. Flo, Gretchen, thank you.
Thank you much.
I have
Thank
one
you.
question for you real quick. Regarding your community service credit.
Yes.
Now, do you have someone who is approving projects before the
Yes,
kids do the projects, before the
Yes.
students get involved? Because from what I understood before, if they don't have whatever they're involved with approved ahead of time, then necessarily they can't count it towards their credits?
It depends.
your
What they
hours,
have-
I should say.
What they have to do is talk to Mr. Hurst, okay? Especially with his relationship with Mrs. Hurst. Okay, and she was one of the leaders in community service.
And Dan is real knowledgeable.
Oh, he's very, very knowledgeable about it. And he's put together a 3-page packet. And on the first page, and they can talk to him, and if he okays it, they can go back, like if they're a senior now, they can go back and take the first page of the packet, go to the adult supervisor that they had at that time, and he would fill it out saying this person did it, and there's a second page where he writes down what they did, how many hours, and bring it back to Mr. Hurst and he'll approve it. Kids that are doing it right now, okay, just starting out with it, like the sophomores we talked to this morning, they get the packet and whatever community service they want to do, Boys and Girls Club, through their churches, whatever it may be, okay? They take the packet, they give the first sheet to the person in charge of it, they fill it out, they give them the second sheet where he'll log their hours, then they go back to Mr. Hurst and give him the first sheet that the adult supervisor, he approves it, and then they also keep track of their hours. When he's all done, and with 40 or 60 hours, they put those two together, hopefully they agree, and then Mr. Hurst will notify us to give them a credit.
Okay, so basically, as they're working on it, they need to make sure they have Mr. Hurst's
Yes,
approval
his
for that
approval.
project, is what I'm
Right,
trying
and
to
I've told the kids too
make
that they
clear.
should make copies of the packet because they may have 2 or 3 different community services or even more that they deal with. So they need a packet for each person, each service that they do. Okay.
As Joe would say, it's another unfunded mandate. It really is.
Okay.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving along to the recommendation we have of a parental involvement policy. Ms. Atkins is here with us tonight. I'd just like to acknowledge her tonight, but we have a recommended policy here that's legally required. The necessary pre-work has been done, and everything is recommended to adopt this evening and make it part of the policy of our school district. Thank you for being here tonight, Phyllis.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ruthier.
The last item I have for your review and subsequent approval this evening is to adopt a thermonomics policy. We came to the board some months ago.
Contract, not policy.
I'm sorry, a contract to establish this procedure whereby we're saving energy dollars. We did an analysis before and after, and based upon the analysis performed at WIC, because that was our test site, we had a fair reflection of savings and reduced costs. It would be our recommendation by way of the Finance Committee as well that we move forward with this installation. It will probably occur after the first of the year. And all the remainder of our buildings that have central air conditioning at a cost that's roughly $37,570, thereby saving future energy dollars. We estimate, if we can save in the neighborhood of 10% off our total electric bill, that will more than pay for the startup cost that's being presented to you this evening.
May I have a motion, please?
Uh,
Or is there any questions?
I had a question. Is there a life to this thermonomics procedure? I mean, is it good for 10 years, or is it indefinite?
Jerry Kettle, who is one of the representatives of this program, if you will, is here, and he could speak to that.
He needs a mic.
Jerry, can you, excuse me, can you come up and use this mic, please? Stand in that little square and talk to us.
Stand there.
If you would, please.
There you go.
Oh,
That's not on yet.
Now it's better.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
Thanks.
it's a one-time application, Ken. What happens is this product is injected into the system, and it molecularly adheses itself to the metal itself. Metal has pores, and it goes into the pores and it stays there. You never have to replace it. It's a one-time operation.
so it's,
The only time you would do this, if you took the whole unit out and threw it away and started over, obviously you'd have to redo it. But it's just a one-time application. It lasts for the life of the system itself.
oh, okay.
Ms. White?
Mr. Ruth, which one of our schools currently have central air?
They all do. Just about all of our buildings have central air, with the exception of the Burton Center and Mount Pleasant. It doesn't have central air per se for the building. They have units, but it isn't central air like central air is here, and Wick, Hill Creek, Barth, the high school, of course.
Corey has central air?
I'm sorry?
Corey has central air?
Yes.
But just not in the gym, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. We don't cool our
Because I
gym
know
rooms.
you're saying buildings, and I'm thinking, no, I was over there and it was hot. And I know it wasn't any central air anywhere in there.
Gymnasiums were not included in that
Right.
because of the tremendous number of cubic feet.
And actually, the
I tried to
treatment
get it
is in
done.
the central air system itself through all the piping that's taken place. And when Mr. Kettle is speaking, if any of that piping were to be replaced, then we lose the effect of it. But as long as that's in place and it's functioning, then it's a one-time application.
You know, another thing too, it can be used in your chillers and your coolers and things like that, your walk-ins. Those can also be serviced. And, you know, it's the same thing. It'll reduce the electricity usage then.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Yep, I need a motion. So this means that we'll save so much money, we can now put air conditioning in the
Gym.
at
No,
the high
no,
school.
no, no.
At the high school, I've been trying to get for forever.
Go, Bill.
In Corey's gym.
Okay, well, I just thought I'd try.
We start at the top and work
Yeah,
down.
that's right. Yeah.
Madam Chairman,
Graduation.
I'll make a motion to recommend to install the thermodynamics energy-saving application to the chillers throughout the school district.
Support.
Okay, is there any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is a field trip for the students of Shakespeare at the high school. The cost will be covered by the individual students. You see a breakdown by Felicia Sterling, which shows the itinerary and cost breakdown and so forth. We did this last year and had a very good experience with it, and we need to go ahead with it again this year for the benefit of our children.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Okay, any questions on the field trip?
Have fun.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, communications and expressions from the public, we have none, so Superintendent Carr, your items of interest?
I've already commented on the one that I really wanted to
full
make
audience
comments
left.
on, relative to the MEA's
Big audience.
position on the testing, and we as administrators appreciate very much that the MEA is seeing this as we see it, and it's good to work with these folks on these issues. We've got really great relationships with our teachers, a contract in place for a couple of years now, and it's good to see that we're working on issues and working together to accomplish the best for our children.
Great. I would like to say congratulations to our Lady Eagles. They won the districts on
Yeah.
Friday night. They're playing tonight, so hopefully,
Isn't
they're in
that nice?
regionals tonight, so hopefully we're winning.
Yep.
We haven't heard yet, so
haven't heard yet.
congratulations to Coach Henry and the Lady Eagles.
That was very nice.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Mumsey.
I would like to congratulate our commercial foods program
Sure.
for the gorgeous ice sculptures at the Academic Achievement Breakfast. Honestly, goodness, you know, it's hard to believe that young people are doing this, but we've got great teachers in that program. I'm very impressed.
Thank you, Ms. Lanasi. I was going to mention that.
I was
I
too.
am so glad you did. I would have been very upset.
Yeah.
Yes, Ms. White.
She talked about the culinary arts, but just, I want to speak about academic achievement, period, to congratulate those students and also commend their parents, because they have parents that are working along with them, and we had a good turnout of parents and students as well. I think just about 99% of the students, along with parents, were there. So that's something positive
And you know,
as
that's
well.
impressive because this is high school.
Right.
You know, and usually youngsters don't want their parents involved. And it's so nice to see these people all come out. That place was standing room only, I think.
Very nice.
It was really nice.
Well, thank you.
And also, I wanted to compliment Chuck Eustace and Angelica. We had an opportunity to go over to the Eagle's Nest for lunch, board members, and it was just fabulous.
Fabulous,
The food
yeah.
was excellent, the service was excellent, and we even tipped. So, I mean, we went to a full-blown,
Our
you
table
know,
tipped.
full-blown restaurant. So
It's a great place to eat
yeah,
lunch.
very, very
We put ours over in the tip.
impressive. I mean,
thank
and actually it was
By the
just nice to
cashier.
be invited. So we were in there with the operations, with the kids and everything,
Yeah.
you know. So
It was nice.
it was nice. So
Great place.
they're doing a great job over there.
Yeah, we have a lot of great things going on at the high school, so we just wish the community come out and take a look at what we're doing. Some great things going on. Any other comments?
I'd just like to remind everyone about the fact that we do have the family rates for the athletic tickets, and they need to check at the athletic office to get them, fill out their forms and get them. We've got, you know, new sports coming up on the horizon, all start schedules, so check into your tickets, family rates.
Any other comments? Okay. Motion for adjournment, please.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion, we adjourn.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
I should